Really what you want to do, you want to treat people with asthma to achieve control, making sure that at the end of the day, this individual does not have symptoms, this individual has a normal exercise capacity, this individual has a normal lung function, and this individual is not experiencing any adverse events from the medicine that they're using, and they don't get attacks, especially the kind of attacks that would mean missing work or school, or going into hospital for emergency treatment. Those are the kind of things you want to do. At this moment in time, the answer is no. There are no interventions that you can use to prevent asthma in any individuals. There has been a lot of things that have been tried. People have tried dietary manipulations, hasn't quite worked. People have tried, injecting allergens in early life, the things that people react to see whether you can develop a different way of responding to those allergens. It hasn't worked. So at this moment in time, there is no something that you can grab out of the shelf, give it to someone, and they are prevented from developing asthma. Every asthmatic should have an airway opener, an emergency airway opener. We call them bronchodilators. Okay? Now, what's recommended right now is that you should not use a pure airway opener alone. Okay? You should always use an airway opener with group of medicines that we call anti-inflammatory agents. So, the first thing that one should have is to be able to have medicines that prevent the attack in the first place. But when the attack happens, they should use their medicines to open up the air pipes. That's what needs to happen. If they have used their medicine, say once, twice, then and they are not getting better, they should be rushed to hospital. Ideally, we should have ambulance services and all those things, and you call a number and an ambulance comes to you. That's what happens in places which are called developed. We don't have that here. So anyone with an asthma attack that has not responded very quickly to airway openers given by themselves at home should be rushed to hospital for additional treatment. So there are three very key, maybe 3 or 4 key things that anybody with asthma should do. Number one, the diagnosis must be made. Asthma must be called asthma. If you go to a doctor and he says, you have bronchitis, and they don't mention the word asthma, and you've been coughing, wheezing, having difficulties in breathing, that doctor is being unfair to you. So the diagnosis needs to be made and named. You're not told it's a bronchitis and not asthma. The asthmatics should be educated as much as possible, given as much information as they can. They should also themselves go seek this information, and at this moment in time is the so-called information age, and therefore information is freely available in our phones. As much as possible, seek that information. Every asthmatic must identify the things that trigger symptoms and avoid the ones that they can avoid. And finally, every asthmatic must be on appropriate treatment for asthma. Preventer medicines, reliever medicines. Prevention of symptoms and attacks, and relief of symptoms and attacks. That's it. If you do that, the majority of people who have asthma, who know they have asthma, should be able to control their symptoms. And that way we will reduce the rate of people who are going into hospital with attacks. We will also reduce the number of asthma, of people with asthma who die. Most people with asthma don't die, but a few do. And most of those who die are dying because they have not been given appropriate preventer treatment to keep them away from getting bad attacks.